أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الله أندادا يحبونهم كحب الله. There are some who worship other deities besides Allah. Other than deities, it can be anything that is of my interest. It can be food, it can be clothes, it can be fame, it can be status, it can be my job, it can be my education, anything that I am so engrossed with, I am so taken over by, that I can bring it before Allah. For me, that is more important than following Allah and His Rasul Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So here Allah says, for those who have other deities besides Allah. Now, in the first tense, of course, it refers to the people who are idol worshippers. And secondly, for all those who will bring up anything against Allah. يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. They love them as they should love Allah. So I should also think, what are the things that I love more than Allah? Are there any things in my life that I love more than Allah, which mean more to me than Allah? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Whereas the believers are strong in love for Allah. In love for Allah would mean that when a commandment of Allah comes before us, we give it the top priority. We give it the topmost importance. I can leave my things aside and I keep that on the top. وَلَوْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا إِذْ يَرَوْنَ الْعَذَابَ أَنَّ الْقُوَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Allah says, if those who are unjust could visualize, that is the day of judgment, when they will see the punishment, they would come to know for sure that all powers belong to Allah and that Allah is stern in retribution. On that day, those leaders or those humans who were being followed, when faced with their punishment, will reject, or they are going to ignore those who followed them in the world. And the bonds which united them, for they thought that these people are going to help us be successful in Akhirah, which united them, will break asunder. Those ties are going to break. The followers will say, if it could be possible for us to live again, we would disown them as they have disowned us today. Thus Allah will show them the fruits of their deeds. They will sigh with regret and shall not be able to come out of the hellfire. O mankind, Ya ayyuhan nas, kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. Eat of what is lawful and clean on the earth. Other than the deities, some of us have even made the lawful unlawful. Allah says, keep two conditions. Eat whatever you may, as long as it is halal. And eat what you may, as long as it is tayyib. Tayyib means that it is clean, it is healthy, it is pure. Because a lot of halal, a lot of lawful can be impure also. You should not go for stale things, don't go for rotten things, don't compromise on health food items. And so Allah says, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And do not follow the footsteps of shaitan. So that means, if halal and tayyib is not followed, this is a sign that you are listening to shaitan. Innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. Allah says he is your open enemy. He is going to put you aside from the halal and the tayyib, and is going to take you towards the unlawful. Why? Because unlawful again is going to deny your worship. And you may say a lot of things, because you see, we maintain our personality, or we build up a character also because of what we eat. It reflects upon our character also. So Allah says, إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالسُّوءِ وَالْفَحْشَاءِ. Shaitan enjoins you to commit evil and indecency. How? Because if somebody will be indulged in the unlawful foods, then the outcome would be, Allah says, su and fasha. And lastly, وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And to say certain things against Allah about which you have no knowledge. That means eating reflects our character, and also what we think and what we say. So food, if you will see in the lives of the Anbiya, they used to remain restricted to the halal and tayyib. And we see what the teachings of our prophets are. We look at the lives of the Sahabas. They restrained themselves, they restricted themselves to halal and tayyib. And we see what they have left for us. And we see their lifestyles, and we see what remarkable people they were. So that means food plays a very big role in our character building. So when it is said to them, follow what Allah has revealed, they reply, no, we will follow what our forefathers practiced. Well, even if their forefathers had no sense at all and lacked guidance, meaning still would they follow people? So who becomes the criteria to follow? Definitely it can't be people. Why? Because Quran has not been written by people. Quran has been written by Allah. So that means the guidance lies, hudallahi, innal huda hudallahi. The actual guidance is from Allah. So Allah says, even if their forefathers have no sense, would they still follow them? The parable of those who reject faith is like cattle, which call out to them as one may, hear nothing but a shout and a cry, since they are unable to understand. They are deaf, dumb and blind and understand nothing. If you look at the cattle, if a shepherd is calling on the cattle, even the sounds that he is making, crying out for them to make a line or come in the queue or come in the shed, all they hear is voices coming to them. They cannot actually understand the language of the shepherd. Similarly, the idols that people worship, idols cannot hear anything. They cannot understand anything. They are just like deaf, dumb and blind. Similarly, the people who follow them and those who want to bring them to the right path, when they call them towards Tawheed, it's just like they are calling towards a cattle. Allah says they are not going to understand. It's just like one is deaf, dumb and blind. O believers, ya ayyuhallazina amanu, and Allah is addressing it to us. Kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum, eat the clean things which we have provided you. Washkuru lillahi in kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, and give thanks to Allah if you worship only Him. So, if one is eating halal and tayyib, that means he is in an act of worship. He is in total ibadah. And when we are in ibadah, this is in its own way, a shukr of Allah. That, oh Allah, whatever you have given us, whatever you have provided us, we are going to be happy with what we have. So Allah says, if you will also compare that there are about 99% things, what is available to us as far as food is concerned, 99% is halal. It's probably the 1% which has been declared haram, which Allah is mentioning here. He has forbidden you to eat. Now when the word forbidden, harama, comes, that means this is unlawful. What is it? Dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which any other than Allah has been evoked. Any other name other than the name of Allah, if that has been taken on any sacrifice, then that kind of food is not allowed. But if someone is compelled by absolute necessity, now despite the fact that Allah is mentioning that this is haram, still you can see the beauty of Islam, that there may be times when one is forced and compelled, and so he may not have a choice. So Allah says, but if someone is compelled by absolute necessity, intending neither to sin. Now again we go back to the intention, that what is the intention when he is being compelled to do something? Intending neither to sin nor to transgress. He wouldn't have done it otherwise. They shall incur no sin. So even if they are forced or compelled, or there's a threat to life, because life is an obligation to save. So if there's a threat to life, then these things are allowed. Surely Allah is forgiving and merciful. Why is He forgiving and merciful? Because Allah knows that this man would not have done it deliberately, or he would not have done it otherwise. And the moment he's out of that threat, he's going to stop. Surely those who conceal any part of the book which Allah has revealed and sell His revelations for a petty price shall swallow nothing but fire into their bellies. This is also referring to the people of the book, because their scholars would give fatwas according to the needs of the people. If anybody would come with a problem and he needed a solution to his desire, these people would take some money in return, and then allow him to do such a thing, saying that this was according to the book. So Allah says they are swallowing nothing but fire into their bellies. On the day of resurrection, they will come, Allah says, with nothing but fire. Allah will neither speak to them. Allah says that on the day of resurrection, Allah will neither speak to them nor purify them, and they shall have a painful punishment. These are the kind of people who barter guidance for error and forgiveness for punishment. How stubborn are they to encounter hellfire? Their doom is because Allah has revealed the book with the truth. So why would anybody play with the book? Surely those who seek causes of dispute in the book are in extreme divergence. Extreme divergence would mean that they are amongst them, they are then going in a division. And forgiveness would have lasted for those who have repented, who have taken the book as it is. So Allah says here that the book has been revealed with the truth, and those who are going to then cause a dispute within the book, they are going to go into diversions. They are going to go into different directions. Righteousness is not whether you turn your face towards east or west, but the righteousness is to believe in Allah. وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ. Allah says the righteousness is to believe in Allah, the last day, the angels, the books, وَالنَّبِيِّينَ and the prophets, وَآتَى الْمَالَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ ذَوِي الْقُرْبَى, and to spend wealth out of love for him on relatives, وَالْيَتَامَى, orphans, وَالْمَسَاكِينَ, the helpless and the needy, وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, وَالسَّائِلِينَ and the travelers, وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, those who ask for and on the redemption of captives. So these are the initial 5 articles of faith which one has to particularly believe in. If we say that if anybody wants to understand what is al-bir, then these are the 5 articles, and of course taqdeer adds to it to make it number 6. And to establish salah and to pay zakah. وَالْمُوفُونَ بِأَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا أَحَدُوا, to fulfill promises when made, to be steadfast in distress, in adversity, and at the time of war. These people are the truthful and these are the pious. So these are some conditions that have been set forth for those who fulfill their promises. This is a part of Iman. If a man cannot fulfill his promise, he is indeed losing on his deen. O believers, retaliation is prescribed for you in the cases of murder. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, again Allah is addressing us, kutiba alaykumul qisas. A free man for a free man, a slave for a slave, and a female for a female. But if anyone is pardoned by his aggrieved brother, فَمَنْ أُوفِيَ لَهُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ شَيْءٌ. Look at the words chosen by Allah, that even the murderer is being addressed to as a brother. But if anyone is pardoned by his aggrieved brother, then blood which should be decided according to the common law, and payment should be made with gratitude. It should be made with ihsan. It should be made in a good will. This is a concession and a mercy from your Rabb, because we see in some other religions either there is no qisas or there is only qisas. But Islam comes up with the balanced attitude. There is qisas, but there is diyat also. This is called diyat, the blood money that you can exchange, and we don't go for qisas. Now whoever exceeds the limits after this shall have a painful punishment. Like we said, the Surah Al-Baqarah is going to talk about a lot of injunctions that were placed before us as to follow. And we have to learn the lessons from the Bani Israels, that when they were told to do certain things, they disregarded. And we have to see, are we following what we are being told? O men of understanding, there is security of life for you in the law of retaliation, so that you may learn self-restraint. The will is made. Now we come to another part. Kutiba alaykum iza hadara ahadakumul mautu in taraka khaira. The will is made obligatory before the death of any one of you who is leaving some property behind. to make a will equitably to his parents and relatives. This is a duty incumbent on the righteous. Here, right now at this point, the laws of inheritance were not revealed, and making a will was obligatory. If anyone changes the will after hearing it, the sin of it then is on those who make the change. Meaning that if someone has written a will, the relatives or the parents later on did not have the right to change it unnecessarily. And if they will change it, if it was a proper, according to the Sharia, the will was correct, and somebody changed it, then the sin will be upon those who change it. Allah hears and knows everything. But there is no blame on the one who suspects an error or an injustice on the part of the one who has written the will and brings about a settlement among the parties. Allah is forgiving, merciful. But if the will was not in accordance to Sharia, then if someone makes a change to bring it in accordance to the Sharia, and this is how he settles between the two parties, then Allah says that is correct and there will be no sin upon that person. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba alal lazina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. O believers, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may learn self-restraint. And we see that this is the purpose of fasting, that it teaches you taqwa. Because in fasting we are told to refrain from the halal. So if for certain hours we are able to refrain from the halal, then for the rest of the year it trains you to then hold yourself from the unlawful also. And here taqwa is, that means fasting is connected to taqwa. And if at all someone is not building up this quality of taqwa even after fasting, then he needs to work upon it. Because Allah has clearly said, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, this will teach you taqwa, so that you may learn self-restraint. Fast the prescribed number of days, ayyaman ma'dudat. And if you will see, Ramadan is the only month in which we are actually counting days other than the 11 months of the year. Except if any of you is ill or on a journey, then fast a similar number of days later. For those who cannot endure it for medical reasons, there is a ransom, the feeding of one poor person for each missed day. Whoever does more good than this voluntarily, it is better for him. However, if you truly understand the rationale of fasting, it is better for you to fast. Initially, in Ramzan also people were given a choice. They could have given a fidya if they thought that they could not fast. But then very soon Muslims were then given this obligation as a must, that when they can, they have to fast. And Allah says, Shahru Ramzan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran hudal lin-nasi wa bayyinatin min al-huda wal furqan. It is the month of Ramzan in which the Quran was revealed, a guidance for mankind with clear teaching showing the right way and the criterion of truth and falsehood. So that means Ramzan is one month when there is a lot of reciting of the Quran. And this is the month when we see that a lot of gatherings are in name of the Quran, and a lot of people in fact go into the fahm of the Quran to understand it more better. And Allah says there is a special connection of Ramzan and Quran, the most recited. Therefore, any one of you who witnesses that month should fast therein. Now the complete obligation comes on the Muslim that you have to fast. And whoever is ill or upon a journey shall fast a similar number of days later on. Again, the beauty and the balance of Islam, that despite the fact that this is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and if somebody drops out Ramzan from his life, even if he is going to fast for the rest of his life, he cannot make up for that one fast that he was doing during Ramzan. So it's nothing is equivalent to the fasting which is actually done in the month of Ramzan. But despite that, Allah is giving a favor to those who are ill or who are traveling, and especially mothers who are pregnant, they are feeding their children. They have a relaxation that they can make it up in the other days. Why? Allah says Allah intends your well-being and does not want to put you to hardship. And these are the reasons why one should even love Allah for the sake that He has given us something to do, and at the same time He gives you an option of relaxation, that don't worry, I don't want to burden you, but this is for your own good. What do you think Allah is going to benefit out of our hunger and thirst? Allah doesn't benefit anything. It's for our own good. He wants you to complete the prescribed period, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْإِدَّةَ, so that you should glorify His greatness and render thanks to Him, وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. For you should glorify His greatness and render thanks to Him for giving you guidance. What is the shukr in Ramzan? And if you will look back, that Ramzan is the month in which Allah is glorified the most. One is Hajj, one is Ramzan. Allah is glorified the most. And what is the thanks here? Allah has given us the tawfiq, Allah has given us the means to eat again. It's just that you're having an early breakfast and you're having an early dinner. But He has given you the reward which is only and only coming from Allah. Allah said, Ramzan, whenever one is fasting, I am to reward. So whoever is going to be in the zikr during fasting, Allah says, then Allah is going to reward Himself. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِي فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. When my servants question you about me, tell them I am very close to them. I answer the prayer of every supplicant when he calls me. Therefore, they should respond to me and put their trust in me so that they may be rightly guided. So, Ramzan is also a month of du'as, and the du'as that are made by a person who is fasting are never rejected, especially in the time of suhoor and especially in the time of iftar. And one should make it a habit that he should make a lot of du'as during Ramzan, because these are the times when the du'as are accepted. And then Allah says that I am very close to Him. You take one step towards Allah and He comes closer by 10 steps. And so Allah says the condition only is that you respond to me, that you follow my injunctions. It is made lawful for you to approach your wives during the night of the fast. They are an apparel for you and you for them. Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahun. Now during Ramzan, this is allowed, that the relationship between the husband and wife can be maintained at night. Why? Because Allah says that you are just like a dress to one another. You are just like the, look at the attributes of a clothing. Beautifies, comforts, covers, protects. And these four things, if we will see, if they are established within the relationship of a husband and wife, this makes the beauty of a home. We are going to take a break here.